Hi guys, my name is Alan Tobin. I'm Ireland's first Webflow expert, and thanks very much for coming and checking out my video. So, what we're going to talk about today is the Webflow container. I see a lot of people online talking about whether to use a container or not use a container in Webflow, or use the native element, the container in Webflow or not. And instead of the question being should we or should we not use it, I believe the question is should understand what is going on when using the Webflow container so that we can make better websites and not fall into any problems in developing websites on Webflow. So the first thing is, if you can see here, we got an element, Webflow container element with a class container on it, and the and just a simple div block with the same class on it. And then if we change the screen, make it bigger, smaller, we can see that there's an issue. So why is this happening? Why is this taking up the full width of the screen, and why is the container staying here? So that'd be the first question. You can also see I've got this section here with a style of section, and if we do things like we start using flex, like why do these things happen? Why is the container different, the native container in Webflow different to the simple div block, even though they have the exact same style as a class container here? So I'm just going to break it down a little bit for everybody. So the first thing to do is I'm going to move this over here, and we're going to look at, so I've published this page, and you can see here, we're going to look inside use Google Chrome DevTools, and we're going to look at the CSS. So we got our container here, which I built inside in Webflow. It's got a padding of 1 rem, border width of 5 pixels, which is white, background color, and text color. All right. And then you can see down here, we've got W container. Now, we didn't put that in anywhere. We didn't use that. We didn't write that code. We didn't create that style. And if we make this smaller, we can see that the container changes size. And now we've got another style, max width 728 pixels. So what's going on here? I'm going to have a look here at the HTML. In here, you can see that in the div, so the container that is native to Webflow is just a simple div that has got 2 classes. But if we look at this container that I made, this div, it's a simple div, but it only has 1 class. So that is the fundamental difference between creating your own container and in Webflow, which is fine, and using the native Webflow container element. Now, how do we use what we now understand to make sure that we don't have any issues with the container in the future? So the first thing to do that we can do is when we're adding a style to our container, you can see over here the grayed out areas that there is an auto added to each side. Now, when we're using the container element, we're not able to manipulate this. Webflow does not allow us to manipulate this. But when we're using a simple div block, we can add the auto style to either side. Now, at the moment, we're not going to see anything because there's one other thing missing. You can see down here, when we're in this container, that there is a native max width in both desktop and tablet. So I'm going to add this max width to the container. And there you go. Now we've got the container on desktop at the moment functioning the exact same way. However, it's not functioning the same way in tablet. So because what's after happening here, well, they are functioning the same way, but what's after happening is that this max width is now overriding the native max width of 728 inside Webflow. So when we come down here, we can add the 728 back in, and the containers are now acting in the exact same way. And if I publish this, Bring this over, refresh the page. Now everything is functioning in the exact same way as it would have if we just used the container. So that's it, guys. I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a better understanding of the CSS inside of Webflow. And I hope that understanding this allows you to make better websites and work faster and not be as confused in the future as to why the container is not doing what you want. Okay, guys, have a good day. Bye.